You know what else is no bueno is what's been happening at the Canadian border and these truckers who have been leading the Freedom Convoy. And I read a really obnoxious, condescending article yesterday which called it the Free Dumb Convoy. I said, you a-holes, like really? These people are saying enough is enough with these vaccine passports. You're ruining our way of life. You're clamping down on our life. You're clamping down on our way of living. We don't make enough money to begin with. You're asking us to do things that we don't abide, and we're standing for freedom. And some news article writes it and calls it a free dumb convoy. Well, anyway.
Like D-U-M-B.
Yeah, D-U-M-B. So yesterday we had Justin Trudeau come out, and he's holding firm on this stance that these truckers are ruining life for Canadians. They're blocking goods and services going across the border into the United States. The bridge in Detroit, the main bridge there, has to be shut down as a result of this. He's saying you need to end this now. You're ruining Canada's way of life. You're ruining, it has to stop, Justin Trudeau says. And the whole country is now at a standstill because you won't move your trucks.
I mean, what they are asking for is a meeting with him. So he also could be construed as equally responsible for refusing to show up and defend his position against vaccine or for vaccine mandates. If that's what he really wants, is to return to, then show up, right?
Right.
What's interesting is we were watching some news this morning of international coverage of this, and it was not covering the news. Was it Sky News this morning we were watching? Did not cover this as fringe and hateful people and white supremacists.
No, it was a Portuguese. It was a Portuguese.
It was not Portuguese CNN. It might have just been.
It was the local SIC. Yeah, but it was a Portuguese local station in Portugal covering the story.
And it had nothing to do. It had said nothing about white supremacists. It just said it had English-speaking Canadians, what we call sounds on tape, were saying, we're not going to leave. We just want an audience with the Prime Minister. We're asking him to come and talk to us about these mandates that have been put on our lives. And there was nothing at all extremist about the international coverage, whereas anything that you read that is written for American audiences or North American audiences is telling you that these people are white supremacists. They were started by sort of extremists, anti-vaxxers.
They're occupiers. They keep saying occupation instead of protest.
Yeah, they're like January 6th protesters. I mean, it's
so you're
absurd.
only a protester if you're something the media likes. Otherwise, you are an extremist, right? And we are left to our own interpretation when you can find sort of examples of anybody who's behaving extremely in a group of however many thousand. By some estimates, there were 50,000 truckers, right? Of course, some of them are going to be extremists. Also, some of them might have opinions that a lot of us don't like, in addition to being against vaccine mandates. That doesn't mean they get to be for something legitimate if they also have different opinions rather than ours.
Well, and if they weren't Canadians, they'd be called Trump supporters too. They can't really call them that because they're Canadians. But
right.
You know, we were talking about this earlier too, and I'm still confused by this and kind of wonder, like, how is it that there's such a global demand to go with U.S. mandates on a U.S.-based vaccine, a pharmaceutical company, when we have like the worst healthcare system in the world? Like, why are they so compliant? It's like Alex Jones's New World Order was like, there was some truth to it, because I just don't understand the global compliance.
Yes, a lot of international medical communities defer to the FDA. That's just,
and I don't understand why.
I don't
like,
know.
Have they not watched Dope Sick?
Why is the world government use the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency? Right? I mean,
why is NATO the superpower that it is when it promotes Western values? It's just, we export our culture as Americans and our business as well.
But the Canadian government and specifically Trudeau, this fringe group, are continuing to say that this whole thing is started by anti-Semitic, they're Islamophobic, they're anti-Semitic, and they have all kinds of hateful views. These are the people that are taking to the streets, and the police are coming out now taking gasoline from these truckers, and anybody who brings gasoline to a trucker will also be arrested. So if you want to support these truckers, you want to support what they're doing, and you bring gasoline to them so they can stay warm inside of the cab of their truck, you will be arrested. I mean, talk about fascism. I mean,
Yes.
you want to talk about, I mean, give me a break.
And even GoFundMe pulled $10 million of funds that they, was it 12?
$12 million.
$12 million in funding that they were supposed to get because the police said they were a violent occupational force, and there's no proof of that whatsoever. So GoFundMe, with zero evidence, like did not say, here, we're going to do this because the police said they were occupiers, with no video evidence, no evidence of it whatsoever. And they needed that money because these people are not working while they're doing this. They're doing something. We should all be supporting these people.
Well, not Justin Trudeau, who says this has to stop. He specifically yesterday said this has to stop. This pandemic has sucked for all Canadians, he said. But Canadians know the way to get through it is continuing to listen to science, continuing to lean on each other, Trudeau said.
And now GoFundMe is saying they will refund the money that anyone has donated.
Minus merchant fees, they're saying.
Minus their fees, right.
Yeah. Which people are suggesting that they should do chargebacks because that could cost a GoFundMe anywhere from $15 to $35.
That's ridiculous. Wait, so I donate money to this cause to help these people, to get food to these truckers, to donate money to these people so they have gasoline in their trucks. And then GoFundMe holds the money, and they're going to refund me the money, but they're going to take a servicing fee for having processed the money. That's
after it blew up because initially they were going to keep the money and donate it to their approved sources.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
That's infuriating.
No friggin' way. I mean, these, again, so when all of this stuff is painted as like these people are fringe, these are total nutbag, white supremacists, they're far right. I bet if you interviewed a huge chunk of these people may even be really far left. You know what? These people are a lot of these people they want better life for their families. They don't want government involved in their lives. And they're not like middle of the road Democrats who are just part of this woke culture. They are.
Well, a lot of them are vaccinated.
A lot of people. Yeah, yes. Exactly. 90, wasn't it like 90% of them are vaccinated?
Well, yeah. Justin Trudeau said 90% of truckers. So then it's certainly not only 10% of unvaccinated truckers that are protesting. It's a lot of people who are not truckers, but appreciate the efforts of the industry and do not want further burden on truckers. And in fact, all of us should appreciate that these people exist, that they have to make sacrifices every single day. A lot of times, a lot of their day is unpaid if they're not actually driving. They work in an industry that is extremely dangerous. It's up there with like, what's the Alaskan fishermen, or, it's one of the most dangerous jobs that possibly can be done. And, it's not for us to tell them how to behave or think about their industry and what's right for them. And it's certainly not for us to say, oh, well, just get back to work and get the vaccine and don't care at all about what your rights are or anything like that. It's crazy how we're just trying to marginalize them.
If you like this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, we have a membership program. For the price of a cup of coffee once a month, you can support independent journalism just by going to morninginvest.com/join.
You get access to exclusive videos, plus the ability to join and chat with us live. We really appreciate your subscription, and you are supporting independent journalism.